In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What is up, everybody? My name is Ryan. Welcome to the ToastOnRye podcast. Today, I got one of my great friends, Natalie. How are you doing today?
I'm real good. I'm thriving.
Oh, my heart's racing right now. Okay. But how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. Granted, this year is different for sure.
Yeah.
But I instead of waiting for that new normal to hit, I just kind of feel like I should really adapt to that and kind of make a life that, regardless of what's going on, it's a life that I want to live. So
honestly, with how this year's went, we've kind of, instead of, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for, eradicating COVID and all that stuff, we just learned to live with it, which wrong decision. But now everybody is just like, well, I guess now we have to live with it. So now it's like, for me, if I forget my mask, it's like,
it's like the equivalent to it's like the girl equivalent to forgetting to put a bra on and going to class.
Yeah, I can't relate to that because I don't wear bras. I mean, that'd be...
Oh, no, yeah, no.
But
if you did, no judgment.
No judgment.
It's 2020. It's fine.
It's 2020. Everything happens, But, it's basically just like, oh, well, I can't do shit now without my mask. I can't go into places or anything like that. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, everything has been ruined this year. I guess ever since March hit, everything's been downhill from there.
But, part of me was like, is this what quarantine's like? Because, I could do this anyway. My life has been quarantine. I don't do shit. So it's just everything I do, it's been from home. So, yeah.
I mean, my main complaint, not necessarily me complaining that, the whole quarantine thing exists. It's more of everybody has always complained, man, I just wish that I had just some time to just do whatever I wanted. Then the world gave that to you and you decided not to take the opportunity. So it's like, I've seen people go out and party or do whatever during the quarantine. And I was like, this is your one chance to do absolutely nothing. And you're not taking it. I don't know.
I feel like this, I want to humbly disagree in the sense that for me, that was when I jump started, my business that I had been doing for a while. And, while I found that I wasn't passionate enough about it to continue it, I decided that I could make a life doing something similar, but just different in the end. That I took advantage of all my free time because if I can't go out and be social, in public settings, everything was closed. I felt like, what am I doing for myself while I have the time for myself? And I feel like, a lot of people did go out and party, but I was like, I can do that when things open back up. But then you also don't know when it's going to open back up. So it's just a whole period where I feel like I did a lot of personal development and I'm a completely changed person, especially from high school. Oh my God, it's kind of scary. I look back and I'm like, that girl was a bitch. So I in choir, my RBF, my resting bitch face was just so awful. I'm like, good thing no one talked to me. I
was a little nervous to talk to you. I was like, I think she's having a bad day. I'm gonna just...
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, because I was like, okay, it's everyone in the choir was so I had friends in there, but everybody was just close to each other. So it's okay, well, it's I don't interact with some of these people other than this choir. So it's okay, let me just talk to some other people. But
Natalie? No, not that one. Not that one.
It was nothing against you, but I was just she looks like she's going through some stuff.
I really wasn't though. I mean, I was probably high, but that was a low. Can I tell you a story?
Yeah,
it was
sure.
My lowest moment in high school because I was a girl that worked 25 hours a week at Panera.
Mm-hmm.
And I had AP classes up my ass. Okay. So I was busy. And I don't mean to say busy, I didn't use my time wisely, but I had a lot on my plate. So when your girl got into smoking a little bit, it was just I could keep my GPA and do it. My lowest moment though, I had stayed up really late with some friends after a shift and got high. And when I woke up, I was still pretty high, I guess. I don't know. And so it was a Friday too. I remember this very distinctly. And I'm like, oh, good thing it's a holiday. So I went and smoked before school. Turns out we didn't have off. So not only was I late, by the time choir came, it was bad.
Wait, did you not come down from your trip by choir came?
Oh, no. So
because that was sick. That was our... So was this your junior or senior year?
Is it bad that I don't remember? It was Corral.
So then like
I don't remember.
let's assume it's like, okay, so if it was either your junior or senior year, so then like if it was your junior year, you didn't come down from your trip until our 5th period, or you didn't come down from your trip until our 6th
Here's
period?
the thing. Not knowing that it was school that day, it was later in the morning that I had done that. It's not like I did it and then I was like, oh shit, gotta get to school. Like, no, I was late. Like I had, and then by that time, like that was like, again, low moment, because it's like, I was supposed to be that like 4.0 student, like picture perfect, track record and everything. And when I came to choir, I was so bad. A piece of hair flew in my face, and I thought it was a bird in the class. So I was like, bird, and like, oh my god, I don't even want to say their name, but the person sitting next to me turned to me and was like, what the fuck are you talking? I'm like, don't worry about it. I'm good. Like, I'm chill. I feel
like I vaguely remember this. I don't know why. Like I heard like a loud like bird.
Oh, for real? I to be honest, I forgot about it, but I don't know what it is. I was thinking about it the other day, and it just made me laugh, because it's just like, now that I'm doing all my personal development stuff like that, I'm like, I wasted so much time like getting high and goofing off and like complaining about my life that I didn't go out and do something until now. Mm-hmm. And so, but that was still so fucking funny. So I was just, it's a great story. And I got a few, so.
No, that is totally hilarious. I mean, like you said that like, that you were supposed to be this like, what did she say? It was the
like picture.
Yeah.
Perfect.
The picture perfect student.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone has something to hide inside, especially like that
it's
school.
The good ones too, and the quiet ones that you don't think anything will happen with them.
Right, exactly.
It's the quiet ones that kind of scare me, but then it's like the really, really nice ones, and I don't ever say names.
Or it's like they're either really nice or they're really weird, and you don't want to piss them off, but like,
there was one person that was just so nice, and then turned around and told me in the middle of like a class that she wanted to work at a morgue, and I'm like, oh. That's different. I'm like, you know what? Like, to each their own, but like, I never would have expected that.
I actually this is going to sound weird, but I almost worked at a funeral home that doubled as kind of a morgue, essentially.
Oh, cute. We love that.
Yeah. It was, see, like, here's the thing. It's like my mom knew this person, and she was like, oh, you need a new job, right? Because at the time I was still working at like the movie theater, and I was like,
I forgot you did that.
Yeah.
I remember going into a movie and like, oh, I'm being such a fat ass with all my snacks underneath my sweatshirt. And I'm like, I hope Ryan isn't like, a narc.
Trust me, I knew. I just didn't care.
Okay, great. Great.
Like, even as a manager, like, actually, fun fact, most of us know if you're sneaking in food. Just as long as you bought something from us, we don't care. So it's like, let's say it's like you like had like a ton of like candy and stuff, and you bought a soda from us. Cool. All right, whatever. Just please clean up after yourself. Well,
it's your guys' fault for having a dollar store by you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was like,
that's just a routine. Like, you have to go to the dollar store, you have to pig out, and then you regret your decision later when you're like,
it was a bad decision. And plus, like, most people who do sneak in candy and stuff, they still buy popcorn and a soda. So really, it's like, whatever. It's a win-win.
Oh, you don't work there anymore, yes?
Yeah.
I don't do that. I don't buy popcorn. I'm sorry.
No,
like, what is this overpriced? We literally used to make it on the kettle. Like, we kettle cooked our popcorn and then like brought in bags of popcorn. And you bet your ass, I was rich for a night. I looked like I had that big ass like Coach purse. To be honest, I have never carried a purse around in my life that is like huge because I don't have money to put in it. Like, no money to fill it. So I have always kept around like a wallet size purse that carries my phone in it now. Great. But who did I think I was? Like, carrying a big bag? I was a girl sneaking in popcorn to the theater. So, you know,
honestly, we wouldn't
you work
have
smarter,
known.
Not harder. Okay. So, we thrifted a big purse and we were just like, popcorn. All right.
I mean, at least for the popcorn thing, if you spilled it, we wouldn't have known because it looks like everything else on the floor.
Oh, true.
So, but
and it's like we're already gone. So
yeah, but I mean, like, there's one time where I was cleaning a theater. I just said that most of the time we know. There's like that off 10% chance that we didn't know. There's this one person that happened to sneak in Wingstop somehow.
Amazing.
And left it all over their seats. Like, we had to clean off the seat and everything. It was disgusting. There
okay,
was
yeah, that's
everywhere.
gross. Have you seen when people this whole person brought out a whole ass fondue machine into the theater? It went viral like years ago, but I remember that because I remember seeing it and I'm like, that is my life goal. Other than being like a Target greeter, just throw me in at Target and then like give me a fondue machine into a theater and I'm great.
This woman's got goals.
I got real ambitions here, like big dreams. So would never settle.
Actually, back to what you said with the whole quarantine thing. I said that I basically did nothing. But that, I guess at that time, I was so used to, social interaction that it really took a toll on my mental health. So it's me being inside my house all the time. It was like, what else was I supposed to do? And plus I didn't have like any idea of like what I was trying to do anyway. I didn't have any school, didn't have anything like that. But the reason why I was like, you can still have that is because I've seen like a lot of people who like, again, like you started their business in quarantine, started like working on albums or just stuff in general inside quarantine. So one question I do have for you, since there was a lot of different things that was pushed back this year, was there like, actually this is one of our audience questions, but was there like something that you were really excited for this year that pushed back, like a movie or like anything like that? Was there anything that you can think of?
Honestly, just the college social setting. I was the person, and I'm glad you asked this. I was the girl that, again, I had those grades. They were great. I spent hours a night studying. And when I wasn't studying, I was at work. And I would go to bed at, 11 o'clock, midnight, and then wake up at 6 a.m. Mm-hmm. And so sleep, I didn't know her, like never met her. Same. Yeah. And so I had spent so much time like blaming everything around me, but in reality, that is just like a negative mindset that you create for yourself because you're unhappy and you refuse to accept that it's your own fault. Mm-hmm. So for me, I was not wise with my money. I had nothing to show for it by the time I graduated high school. But my belief, and this is why I was the way I was in certain classes, like especially choir, like where you saw my RBF, like I was pissed off at a lot of things. And I was like, fuck this. I'm not going to be a part of this community in choir. I'm not going to be a part of this like social setting in high school. I'm above it. I'm going to wait till college. And that was my mindset where I chose to say, oh, I'll wait till tomorrow instead of saying today is my day to do it. So, and that is just so damaging because, once I did wait for that college setting, well, then that fell through. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do? Because these 4 years of my life are the ones I was looking forward to. That in my mind is what I'd worked towards my entire life. And then to have that taken away in a sense, from something that's completely out of your control, what do you do? And you really have to sit at that moment because a lot of people are like that college was their time to meet people because they didn't think they could find anything from high school. And, maybe they didn't fit in anywhere and college is their place to meet those people and their in-group. And I really struggled with that. So that is something that was taken away from me. And, online school, there are no parties. There are no like, oh, I have a, but me and parties go way back. Like, I got some stories, but it's just like, it's one of those things where that's taken from you. So then it kind of feels like everything is taken away, your life. Right, yeah. And so you have to recreate that. And that causes a lot of panic for people. But I don't know what that was like for you, but.
I mean, I guess for me, I never really spent high school kind of waiting for college. I kind of always tried to at least seize every moment, not necessarily academically. I was a shit student, but in terms of like kind of living life as a whole, at that time, I didn't think I was going to make it that far into life to begin with. Mm-hmm. So then when I did make it past 16, 17, I started to really think about the future in high school. So it's like, I never really had that, fuck this, I'm not going to connect to anyway. I mean, I met like my high school sweetheart there. I mean, we're broken up now, but
so she's not a high school sweetheart.
I mean, she was.
Come on, Ryan.
I mean, she was a little
like 10-year reunion from now. Are you going to dance together?
No,
probably not.
But
so you're not high school sweethearts.
But I mean, I get here. Then okay.
No,
then
but I get it.
Oh no, I mean, I guess the better word for that would be like my first love. Then.
Oh.
So there was things like
cute.
that. Then I met my best friend there. Mm-hmm. I figured out what I wanted to do in high school. Like I figured out a lot of different things just because I allowed myself to connect to the things that were around me. So I wasn't really waiting for anything like that. I was already doing it. I think what was hard for me with the quarantine was that was all stripped away. So it's like, now it's like, oh, well, this was part of my daily routine, was doing something every day.
Right.
Now I don't have to do something every day. So it's like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
That was my struggle.
Sometimes that freedom is damaging because then your options are open all at once.
Right.
Versus like if you have a limited amount of free time every day, you get to choose what you want to prioritize. But then when you have all that time, it's like, well, what's most important? It doesn't really matter. Everything is, I can do it later. I can do it now. And so that's challenging. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have my business and didn't decide to emerge into my research that I do for the UW system. Like I just can't, I don't know what I would have done had I had no passion.
Speaking of your business that you've mentioned a lot, are you comfortable with talking about it?
Yeah, I mean, I won't, obviously, yes, I'm not a part of it anymore, but yeah, I like talking about the mindset behind it and the community. I think that's a really great thing to touch on.
So then like, what was it like for you, like when you did officially start doing it? What did it do for you mentally?
I think, oh, man, and this goes into like why you do the business. And we talk about our whys all the time because you have to perform with your whys. And when I say perform, I don't mean put on an act. I mean, like when you run your business, you have to have a passion for it and you have to have the ability to talk about why should other people do this? Why should other people buy products? Why is this life-changing? The big thing with me is that I was lost. I was so lost. I had no passion for anything, didn't even know if I wanted to keep going to college. And that's coming from someone who like spent her life waiting for college. And then we got sent home and I had babysat for a while. I looked at like pictures of myself and just didn't see someone worth value. And that's hard. That's really hard to like look in the mirror and be like, well, what the fuck am I doing? Like who is this person?
Yeah,
she has no essence. So my best friend had she had been trying the products out for a couple months and she loved them. So she started selling them and she's like, hey, I could really use your help getting to this goal I have. Do you mind helping me? And if not, no pressure. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Like my hair sucks. Yeah. So I'm going to try new hair products. That was life-changing after the first wash. I mean, I'll admit I sat on my ass for like a month and a half and didn't sell anything. I just used the products. And then, I went to a team call with this one of the directors in the company that's like a top rank in the company. Yeah. Multi-level marketing, it gets such a bad rep, but honestly, this is a very different scenario where they actually care about you and push you. So what that director was saying during our meeting that we had, it was like a team call that she was hosting. And she was like, you need to get up off your ass and start asking yourself, what are you doing sitting on your ass? Like, what are you doing for yourself that you can be proud of tomorrow? And it went a lot deeper, but basically she's like, why did you choose to do this? Like, why are you here if you're not going to do anything? Like, don't show up to my calls if you're not going to do anything. And it's tough love is what it was. And I had never been given that. I'd always been nurtured to say like, oh, Natalie, whatever you choose, that's fine. Like, go do whatever you want to do and we'll support you. And then when they don't agree with what you're doing, the support draws back and then you find out you have to be there for yourself. Yeah. And that is difficult because people always think, oh, I started a new business, all my friends are going to support me. No. The amount of people I reached out to and no one would, either people leave you on red, especially with network marketing. There's a lot of scams out there, but I'm a real person. Like these people knew me. And so this business was life-changing in the aspect that I was so busy being mad at the world and making all these excuses. And this business said, stop. Yeah. The only person that's standing in your own way is you, and you need to get out of your own way. Like you need to step aside and let yourself be the person that you would be proud of being, because this is not a 9-to-5 job. This is not something that you settle for. This is something that you work for. And if you don't want to work for it, then what are you doing? Like you're settling. So that mindset drove me to do a lot of shit I would never do. For example, I post on social media every single day. And now like I've decided like I want to in some type of way influence others to live the lives that they want to achieve, because everyone thinks, yeah, I guess I'll go to college. I'll get a degree. That's the norm. I'll go work a 9 to 5, or I'll start my own business. And, you know, that's probably been created already. I'm just doing a different version of it.
Right. Yeah.
And then they realize when they're 40, 50 years old, even 30s, like 20s, people can realize that, you know, they can just wake up one morning and just think that this isn't it.
Right. It's like, I hate this. Yeah.
Yeah. And those are the people that go into work on Monday and they're like, oh, I hate Mondays. I love Mondays. Like, what the fuck?
It's just like the fact that you woke up today. It's like, cool, let's do what I was already going to do.
Because
anyway.
I loved what I was doing. And to be honest, if you're doing something that you love every single day, for a while with this business, like I didn't feel like I was working a job. I honestly felt like I was going to do what I love, and then I was helping other people love it too. And so that's so corny, but honestly,
it's real, for real.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It is real. Like, we're not here to, you know, honestly, if any girl, I mean, there were guys that did it, but girls in our group chat, they were all girls at the time. Whenever someone made an excuse, no one would respond. And then if you were someone like me, who I would show up maybe once a week in the chat, no one would say anything. And I dared to go to my mentor, my best friend, and I was like, why isn't anyone saying anything? Like, this community is bullshit. And she's like, you can't expect people to show up for you who are showing up every day, and you're only showing up once a week. Like, you need to show up just the same amount that they do to show that you're worth this time, because their time is valuable. That's what it's all about. And so it taught me to be better with time management, to put my effort into something. Like, if you're going to do something, don't do it half-ass, because just don't do it, because then that means you don't care enough about it. And so that was me Monday morning, 6, 7 a.m. Good morning, everybody. Like, here's me on Instagram Live or IGTV. And just like, I was so out of my comfort zone. And that's the thing too. I feel like I'm talking a lot.
No, dude, this is great.
But this business also taught me, beyond just showing up for yourself and to do something that you actually love doing, don't settle. Beyond that, it was all about the life outside your comfort zone. And so when you're showing up for yourself and everything, are you showing up just to like be a people pleaser? Because then you're not showing up for yourself, you're showing up for other people. And for me, the big jump was not giving a fuck. And there's the thing is, like, I am a very unfiltered person, but no one knew that side of me, because I put off this front where like I was over it, I was above it. Like, I didn't want to socialize with anyone, and it showed. Like, my RBF, that was a big indicator of like, I don't come near me. Like, I was the type of girl, I would talk in class to everyone. It didn't matter who I like sat by. I was always talking to people in class. And would I hang out with them outside of school? Hell no. Because in my mind, like, I'm gone. I'm leaving for college. This isn't it.
Yeah.
But then what happens when you leave college? What happens when you get a new job? Like, your group is going to change all the time, but you know who's there the entire time is yourself. So if you're not being there for that one person that's there your entire lifetime, and if you're not getting out of your own way to go do that, you're staying in your comfort zone. And that circle of comfort, that is the enemy of progress, because in your comfort zone, you're settling. And you're cool with that for a while, but then you wake up and you're like, why do I want something more? Like, some piece of the puzzle is missing. And then once you step outside of it, it is scary as shit. I had people that are like, no, I'm like, when I was building my team and everything in my business, like, you want people on your team so that way you can all do it together and run this whole thing, run it to the top together. There were people that would tell me like, this isn't for me. And I'm like, well, how come? Like, do you mind, me knowing? And they would say things like, I'm not a salesperson, I don't have enough time. And I'm like, those are excuses that we don't use in this business. like if you don't have enough time, I'm sorry, but being too busy, oh, gotta love sirens.
Right. I was like, dude, I'm doing something here.
How rude if you just saved someone's life right now. Oh my gosh.
Continue. Yeah.
No, yeah. So, shit, I lost my train of thought. But
you're good.
I really wish I knew where I was going. That like totally caught me off guard.
Oh, no, you're good. I think it's, especially since it's like you were talking about jumping out of your comfort zone too. Mm-hmm. That's something that I also had to do this year, because like before, when I first like went to the college I'm going to, I was settling for something that I thought I was going to like. I already knew what I really wanted to do, but I was scared to chase it, because I was like, well, what if like this career isn't stable enough? What if I'm not talented enough for this? What if I'm like, just what ifs kept getting
and you just got to cut that shit out, because
literally,
you know what you were thinking, what if something goes wrong, but what if everything goes right?
Exactly. Like
what are you doing sitting around waiting for that to happen?
Exactly. Like, especially during quarantine, yes, it was weird for me in a routine aspect, but it really made me soul search. It really made me realize, hey, what do I need to do to get to the place that I'm trying to go? Do I need to switch colleges? Yes. Do I need to take certain classes? Yes. Do I need to start doing things on the side so that way I can build stuff up to make myself or to get myself into this, all this stuff?
Yeah.
You really needed to, I guess me personally, I really needed to do that. I'm glad that you kind of already had that breakthrough with that business. It just took me a little longer, I guess. But.
And that's okay. I mean, some people aren't ready to answer those very honest questions, and some people don't even ask because they don't like the answer.
Yeah.
Because I had to sit down with myself and I'm like, okay, I say I'm too busy. What do I mean? And then I had to ask myself that really hard question. I'm like, am I being wise with my time? And I would be like, well, yes, I am. It's just not that interesting to me. Like, no, busy is something that comes from people with weak mindsets. Busy is for weak-minded people. I hate that. If you tell me you're too busy, no, you just don't want to make time for me.
I was gonna say, it's like, are you busy watching New Girl on Netflix, or are you busy actually doing productive things?
And this is obviously, I've watched a lot of podcasts, as I was telling you earlier. But the Real AF podcast with Andy Frisella, he really talks about. He has an episode that tells you why this is the case. Everyone who says they're busy, they're not putting 100% into what they're doing at that time. Like, for example, you're too busy because you have homework all night. What if that homework only takes 2 hours, but you won't set your phone down for 2 hours? And people are like, I can't put my phone down in the other room. Like, I'm just too glued to it. That's an excuse. How can you make it not an excuse? Like, to me, it's just, I'm so straightforward. Like, that's not an excuse to me anymore. And I've had to be honest with myself, and I do practice what I preach. Am I perfect at it? Fuck no. And people are like, oh, well, you didn't go to the gym today. Yeah, fuck no, I didn't go to the gym. And that's terrible. I'm not going to make excuses. Like, that was a decision I made, and it's negative, and I regret it. Like, I'm not here to make excuses and be like, well, the weather sucked. You know what? I'm about to go work out every single day for 75 days. And one of those workouts has to be outside. Snow, ice, whatever. I'm going to make it work. But there's no excuses. The odds are not going to be in your favor every single day. You can wake up and have a good day. You can wake up and have a bad day. But how are you using those bad days to channel in new good days?
Yeah.
And so when people say, I'm too busy, you're not. You're just really bad with time. And, if people say I have a lot on my plate, I used to get it all the time. And, people may be offended by this. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. But like, when you say you're too busy for something, but you're out partying, I see you on your Snapchat, that partying, you have to sacrifice if you want something. Like, I wanted this business so bad for a while that I gave up nights out with friends. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't do any reach outs today. I didn't make connections with people. I didn't build any relationships today. If I need to keep my business open every single day, this is what I have to do. So no. And that's a very unpopular thing to do. Like, people, they love party culture. You love being in college to meet people and party, and turning that down, like, I already said I have my college stories, but like, those aren't going anywhere, especially now. Like I need to do something with my time that's beyond college, because college isn't what I needed it to be. So for the people that like do listen to this, or like even you or me, it's a reminder to myself too. I'm not going to act like I'm above it at all. I've learned that I'm not above anything. When you say you're too busy, be honest with yourself. Like, are you on your phone every 5 minutes? Like, when you are doing your homework? Are you rewarding yourself too soon? Like, oh, I got halfway through the chapter, I'm going to go watch an episode of Netflix. No, finish that chapter that you're outlining and then go watch Netflix when you're all done. Yeah. That's a reward. That otherwise it's just being lazy. So.
Exactly. And I think like that also ties in, like, not only as like a mental thing, but even like, I guess, like for me with this podcast, you see the money that I spent on it to actually make it good.
Yeah.
You got to have that that drive and that discipline to actually take that leap.
Oh, I love that. I'm sorry.
And to unapologetically invest in yourself. I mean, even with like your hair, as small as that, it's like you're like, I need to take that. It's like you're sitting here like, I don't care if it's $85 a pack. I want to take better care of my hair.
Yeah.
It was the same thing with this. I don't care if it's $2,000 at this point.
Oh my God. My investment was $200, not $2,000.
But I want to make this thing good and I want to make it successful. So I totally agree with just
that's the thing. I love that you said that, and that just means your mindset is like beyond what it needs to be at this point. Beyond having the motivation to get started, you needed motivation to purchase your equipment. You needed motivation to start it. And motivation's great for starting, but you don't make a habit out of motivation. You make it out of discipline.
Exactly.
Discipline is so much more valuable than motivation, because when you are waiting to feel motivated, there are going to be days you wake up and you don't want to get out of bed till like 2 p.m. Well, what the fuck are you going to do till 2 p.m.? Like, be disciplined, get up, make a day out of it. I get up early in the morning. I get up at 4 a.m. and I'm done with my shift by 9:30, start my classes, and by then, like, my power list is done by like 5 p.m. Then I have the whole day, the whole rest of my night until like, X amount of hours, like until I have to go to bed. I can do whatever the hell I want. Yeah. I hang out with friends a lot more than I used to, and I have a lot more on my plate than I did in high school. And that's saying something, because when I was working 25 hours a week and I had AP classes and homework, I would have been the type of girl to say, or the type of person. I don't know why I keep saying girl. I'm the type of woman. I am the type of person who would make those excuses like, oh, I'm too busy. Sorry, can't hang. Like, no, that's so stupid and shitty. And like, that reflects my mindset. Like, I'm too lazy to make something happen out of it.
I was about to say, it's like, I think everyone has got that, or just has to have that balance too, because it's like I respected people a lot in high school that did AP classes and still had time for sports, still had time with their friends, their girlfriend, whatever they had going on.
Yeah.
I never took AP classes, but I was granted, I was busy with ITTV.
You did a lot.
I was doing a lot, actually.
Did you know this? I was talking to my friend that I go to Whitewater with, and he was a grade above us. And he's pretty great. Like, he had his group of friends and everything, but he was like, oh yeah, Ryan, he did that segment on ITTV. Like, he would review movies and stuff like that. And I'm like, yes. How do you know? Cause they'd be like, oh, I know Ryan. And I'm like, how do you know? And then they would mention ITTV. And I'm like, so this dude's like actually famous, cause 2,400 people in a high school, you're looking at me like, what the fuck? Oh my God. I was like, wow. And it was just one of those things where I'm like, oh, sorry, you probably don't know who Ryan is. And he's like, no, I do. And I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, great.
This is blowing my mind.
Well, you're welcome. And that's the other thing. People are watching whether you know it or not. So
that's true,
you may have X amount of views on your podcast, but there are people watching to make sure you're consistent. I had people that would hit me up with my business, and they're like I messaged them and they didn't respond, but I sent them a follow-up to say like, hey, I know you read my message. I saw you read my message and didn't respond. Like I still would like to chat with you about this opportunity. I think it'd be great for you. Yeah. And what ended up happening is sometimes I would get texts to say like, yeah, I just want to make sure you were consistent. Because everyone can send that first message. Everyone can wet their pants and send a first message, but do you want to wet your pants again? No, probably not. It's a very unpleasant experience jumping out of your comfort zone. But if you're continuously doing that, that's where I saw results. I had people who were waiting for me to post on social media. They're like, oh yeah, I was waiting for your daily post. And what I would do is like, oh, tap this emoji right here if you want to do it. Because people don't know what to say. Like, who wants to say, I need help with my hair? Like, I'll tap an emoji that says the same thing.
I was literally so curious about it. I was like, is this gonna work for guys?
It does.
It does.
I may be a market partner that's inactively selling now, and I'll say the business name. It's Modern Nature, but we call it Monate. But granted, I just quit. I don't sell at the moment, but I'm still taking care of my VIPs, and I'm still actively using the products. Like, it's one of those things where even though I know I'm not passionate about it enough to sell it, I'm still passionate about what I'm using, and I think that's still okay. Like, for example, I still want to own my salon and sell Monate products through it. I just don't want to sell them, because this isn't what I want right now. I want to pursue my econ degree and work econ to the fullest extent, because once I change over to my salon, bye-bye econ.
That was actually what I was actually going to ask you. So your official business plan is to open up a salon?
Yeah. Yeah, salon/spa, and it's really cute. My mom, the other day she ran into my room. She's like, "You have to see this," and I'm like, "Oh, is it like a cute cat video or something?" Like it's stupid mom shit that they find on Facebook, like the 10th American Idol audition that they watched in a row of this autistic kid like doing a really good job, and it's just like that is beautiful. He had a really great voice, but like, Mom, I'm working my business. But there was one night where she was just like, "Hey, now I think this would be really great in your salon." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" And so we're looking at flotation therapy. You float in a pool for like 25 minutes or 45 minutes. Oh yes, go save lives. Yes, I save lives with hair, and they save lives.
I don't know if like we'll be able to hear this in post. So if you can hear the siren in post, because I wouldn't be able to fix that. Sorry, but yeah, that's what's happening in the background.
Gotta love it. People are people. They need saving. So yeah.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Anyway, continue.
Yeah. So with my salon and everything, like I go to the salon very frequently. That's where a lot of my damage came from. So that's why I needed hair products. But I know that I love Monate products. I won't use anything else for the rest of my life. But there are times when I would go to the salon and I'm like, I wish I could just be in this setting all day, like forever. And then I would go back, do my econ homework, and I'm like, I enjoy econ, but do I want to do this forever? Hell no. And it would go away, but my friend Kara would always say this to me, and she did a really great job of instilling this, and so it made me want to follow my passion eventually. She's like, yeah, but that thought is still there at the end of every day, right? And I'm like, right, yeah, and it goes away, but then it comes back. And she's like, yeah, the fact that it's still there, because I'll go back to my appointment after 6 to 8 weeks, whatever. I get expensive ass balayage treatments, like what the fuck? And I will go do that, and then it's still at the back of my mind. And I was like, yeah, I really want to be a part of this, like, and I want to own my own business someday. So maybe this is it.
So then, have you had this goal since high school, or like, was there something else that you wanted to do in high school?
No, I wanted to be a professor in econ.
Wait, I can't imagine that. I don't know. Just like with how real you are, I can't imagine you as someone that's just like, all right, guys, so today we're going to be like working on
here's
this.
The thing. Econ professors in college are very different from your high school econ teacher. Granted, my high school econ teacher, well, same one, right? You had Jaeger.
Yeah.
He was
right.
the shit. Okay.
Hold on.
Okay, thanks. He was the shit. Sorry guys, mic check. So he was the one who made me want to do econ, because I had never been so interested in something, and the fact that each of our AP classes were extended to a year versus a semester gave me a lot of time to think about it. And he was so real with me, like the shit that we would talk about at like lunch, because I would eat lunch in his classroom. I hated the lunchroom.
I saw that all the time. It's like after my period, you're just like
my favorite teacher. And there are a lot of things where people are like, you're a teacher's pet, and I'm like, no, I actually care about this class. How about you? Like, no. Oof. So, and I'm real, like not everyone's cup of tea, but eventually, like he was telling me, like not a lot of kids are into econ, why do you think you're into it? And I just like the patterns. I like being able to predict things based on models, and I know a lot of subjects do that, but all
the power to you. I hated econ with a passion.
You know what? Every time I seem to meet someone in college, they're like, oh, I hate econ, like just up front, and I'm like, yeah, go shit on my major, it's cool.
Well, no, like here's the thing, it's not because it's hard or anything. It's just for me personally,
it's just
not interesting for me,
and that's okay.
And Jaeger was a great teacher. Like it wasn't because of him, it was just the subject itself.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So, and seeing he showed us his senior high school photos, and like I shit you not, he looked like a Justin Timberlake. He had the frosted the 90s frosted tips and the earring going on.
I've actually seen it too. No, wait.
It's priceless. We put it on we photoshopped
Oh no, you didn't. Oh boy.
I want you to say your story, but I do want to say it was my junior year. I was like one of 2 juniors in the class. Everyone else was seniors. So the other junior, we didn't know where he was half the time, but I was so passionate about it, and I developed a really great bond with a lot of the seniors. So me and my friend in the class, we were like, hey, like, let's do a send-off gift for him, even though I'm still going to be there. It's from the seniors technically. Mm-hmm. We photoshopped his old senior yearbook photo onto a shirtless picture of Adam Levine. Here, hold on. So the way his last name is spelled, it sounds like Jagger, but without a certain letter in it. Right. So Adam Levine, because moves like Jagger. So we photoshopped.
Moves like Jaeger.
Yeah. So it was the shirtless
that's
picture.
hilarious. I
And guess
love
how we
that.
delivered it to him? Because it was the senior's last day. We delivered it to him in a Victoria's Secret bag.
Man, that's such a good idea. We didn't do shit.
I did it for my AP World teacher too. Shout out Jameel. We put big disappointment because he'd always promise us donuts if we did well on an exam, and we always did. And so the O in disappointment was a donut because he would always forget the donuts. And we're like, you're so fucking disappointing. Like we would tell him that. And now he doesn't work there. Coincidence?
I think not.
I think so.
Incredibles reference was my favorite movies.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's another audience question that's actually really interesting.
Okay.
So are you aware of the whole Charlie Damelio thing going on? Like, so basically what happened was, I think James Charles was having dinner with the Damelio family. I really don't care.
Oh yeah,
about
and
this.
Dixie was picking her nose or something. And she
Yeah.
was not okay with the amount of followers she got or something.
Yeah,
I saw that.
The question was, what's your take on Charlie, I'm going to butcher her name, Damelio's bullshit complaining about followers and stuff?
Okay.
Yes. What's your take on that?
Oh, yeah. So, oh man, this is such a great topic. I like this question a lot. We live in a society. I literally made an Instagram post about this the other day. We live in a world where everyone wants to be successful, but they don't want to wait to be successful. They want overnight fame, just like her. And so when she's not seeing that rate, that happen at the rate that she wants it to, she gets pissed off. And for me, it's a sign that you don't have enough gratitude in your life because you have to be thankful for the process and enjoy the process before you get to enjoy the result. And so you look at all your famous role models in your life, whether that be Giannis. Oh my God, he's so fine. But anyway.
It's nothing about his athletic
No, he's a
ability.
great basketball player, but I'm watching the arm muscles flex while he's playing, and I'm like, yes, Giannis. Okay. Oops. But
No, you're
anyway, to get it back on topic, my idol is Andy Frisella, and I have a lot more. Like I love Michelle Obama. Like, oh my God, I love her. And then I also, you have those NBA players, you have those NFL players, and you look at them at their chapter 10. So like, not everyone knows that they had to work to get to that point.
Yeah.
A lot of them practiced in their backyard just like everyone else. Everyone starts in the same point of their life. And a lot of times they start behind you because they don't come from that privileged area. But you know what that means is because they weren't as privileged, they had to work harder to get out of where they were. And to do better for themselves because they saw more and they had big goals. But that did piss me off to hear her say that. And James even said like, oh yeah, like, like sarcastically, sarcastically said like,
James actually worked for his following. I mean, I don't really watch beauty content, but the fact that someone is, especially like him, since he's, a male, being in that sort of like, what's the word? Industry. It's very impressive to see him have 10 million
and even
subscribers.
he can go through X amount of scandals, and I know that's a trendy thing, and cancel culture, like it can, your success can be taken away from you just as easily as it can be given to you.
Yeah.
And that did piss me off because it's like you're creating that headspace and that mindset now where like if you're not successful overnight, that's not your time. Your time is now. You don't wait for shit to happen to you. You go off and you work for it. And that just pisses me off because it's like, to me, in my opinion, TikTokers, they're funny, but they are regular people to me. And I just don't see them as celebrities. Unless there are like Jason Derulo, like, yes, all his TikToks are amazing. And like, he's already famous. He's got a great voice, but he worked his ass off to be where he is. And Charlie, she was a dancer like before TikTok. No one really thinks to talk about that.
With her, like she even admitted that like when she first got on TikTok, it was nothing about like her trying to blow up. It just happened.
Yeah.
And she didn't ask for it.
Because people saw something in her and she didn't even see it in herself. She was just doing it for fun. But that's the thing. She was a dancer her whole life. So then, of course, she's great at TikTok dances and then, things blow up for her. But that shows a very big lack of gratitude on her end. And I was very disappointed to hear that because she is supposed to be that sweetheart of TikTok where like everyone, loves her and, everyone takes her side when there's drama. Like, and it's just like that that shows. And you've seen their house. I mean, even before they blew up, they came from a very great life. I mean, on the surface, you know, materialistically, great life. But I don't know how the family is emotionally. They want to have their own show. Great. But that's a highlight reel, right? And so, you know, you see your celebrities preaching bullshit like, oh, just keep it up, like keep at it. I get up at 6 a.m. and work and really hard, and I go through my entire day, and I do this, and this to be successful. Okay, their journey to success is not the same as yours, so don't think you have to work. I will never ever call it a normal day to wake up at 4 or 5 a.m. to start my day. Like, that's bullshit. I'll sleep in, and I could still be successful from 10 a.m. onward. You know. And
I mean, I'll cut her some slack just because she is. I mean, both Dixie and Charlie are young. I mean, I think Charlie's only 16 at this time, or 16, 17, something like that. So it's like, I get it. I'm sure that, like, she didn't ask for it. I mean, I kind of look at it on both sides too, because like, while like, yes, like I totally agree with what you're saying. Also, people who are that famous. I mean, like a big example, and like this is like a direct quote from his special. But if you know who Bo Burnham is. Basically in his special Make Happy, he was saying that it's like having a big audience from social media. It's kind of like he grew up in this time where, or I mean, basically the 90s, where it's like everyone had things to say. Everyone was like encouraged to just say things, and people will start caring about it. And then he got older and realized no one gives a shit what you think.
No.
So but then he was saying that like people flock to people, or I guess performers, but in this case Charlie, because they are the few to get an audience and then be able to have stuff to say, and people will care about it. I mean, granted, all she does is dance, but still, it's still the same aspect. He was saying that it's like, if you can go your life without an audience, especially as big as Charlie's, you should do it. So I guess in her aspect, I think she might miss like just the private life of, hey, the most I have to worry about is probably getting bullied at school for something like that. So I guess from that thing, I get it. But at the same time, be aware of what you have.
And I want to say, other than her age, I think this really needs to be taken into consideration. Money doesn't change a person. It enhances what they are, because you have a bigger capability to do the shit that you've been doing. Yeah. So for her, she dances, and that enhances her ability like to dance with TikToks. If she has, and I don't know anything about her, I'm not going to claim to know her. If she really had that mindset where she cared about followers and had that materialistic view of social media, that grows when you gain a following and you get money from that. So it's just like, you know, you have, again, I'll reference those athletes. Like, once they have that big lifestyle, they're big spenders, because it's like, you grow up, you have money problems. Well, that enhances your money problem. Like, it just makes it on a bigger scale. So like, to me, I honestly was disappointed. I feel like it was partially a joke, but it's also not a great image to set forward to such a big audience. And to me, it is sometimes a numbers game with business. Like, you do X amount of things, but only a certain amount of that work. And for her, it worked out really well, but I was kind of disappointed in that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was, I mean, all around it's very disappointing. I think, just like I said, like, this is like since she's young, I get it. She might not want this fame, but at the same time, assuming that like she's not thinking about that, she really needs to think how many eyes are actually on her. Yeah. And watch what she says.
For sure. I mean, it's like, you're in the spotlight, and sometimes you don't want to be this role model, because you don't want to be the perfect person to someone. You're bound to make mistakes. People wait for those mistakes, and then they write news reports about it. But, you know, if you're famous, you do have that responsibility to like know your audience too. So if that's what you want to project, is like, oh, I'm overnight successful, but not successful enough. Like, what does it say to the person who's been trying really hard and they're not seeing overnight success and not seeing the numbers they want? Like, should they get pissed off about that and quit? Or if someone's trying to be successful, but it's not happening overnight, and it's not enough materialistically in terms of like a follower count or whatever, what does that say to them? Like, should they quit?
Exactly. I mean, and you've seen the whole video, right? I mean, this goes for both, what's their last name? Damelio sisters. I always have trouble saying their name.
No, you're good.
I mean, again, since they're both young, but like, they should probably learn from this. They looked so ungrateful with what they have. I mean, like, they had a private chef cooking for them, and she's like, this is
gross. I was like, bro, just be happy that you have a private chef. What, like, the fact that you have enough money to do that, you should be grateful for that. And then like look at this big house that you're in that most people will never get in their lifetime.
Yeah.
Like, you just look so ungrateful.
And
it made me mad.
That's the big thing. Yeah, I get that, because gratitude is the difference between a humble billionaire and like an entitled maniac.
Yeah.
Like, you can be the richest person in the world, but if you don't wake up and you don't understand all the things you have in your life that there are to be grateful for, you're not happy. And then you create that sense of entitlement, and then it just turns into something where you become this person, and then people don't like what you're putting out anymore. And that's where you can lose your audience too. So I hope she remains true to, her, roots, if they are good roots. I believe she has a solid foundation somewhere, because she's been able to handle it for the most part on the surface. So yeah.
I mean, I think too, like, she just got her fame, in the last year or so? So
right.
I mean, I feel like she's probably still trying to adjust to having that fame too.
Yeah, it's big.
I mean, especially for Charlie, Dixie literally just mooched off of her sister. Essentially.
Oh.
I
sorry, the tea just spilled on the table.
I even heard her admit it. I was like, yeah, I mean,
my sister's famous. I'm not gonna like,
you know what I mean? Like,
and I know, I get that they're doing different things now, that they're both in the spotlight, and I'm glad that that's happening, because it's hard. I'm sure she gets a lot of bad rep for piggybacking, in a sense. That could be someone's opinion that they may have of her, but she's definitely the one that's making music and stuff. And I'm not a personal fan, but that doesn't mean I'm about to shit on her. Like, she's gonna go do whatever the hell she wants, and I'm like, cool, I'm gonna go do my own thing. So
yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, at least like she's doing something with it, not just like, hi, I'm Dixie, this is my sister. Like,
right.
Like,
I'm Charlie's sister. Yeah.
Like she's
Dixie. Yeah.
At least
I like
she's
that.
doing that.
Yeah.
But,
100%.
So yeah, I guess that's our thoughts on that. I completely forgot about that until somebody asked it. So, for me, it just kind of just went over my head. I was just like, okay, whatever. It's just whatever.
No, I get it.
Well, that wraps up this episode
of the ToastOnRye podcast. Again, big thanks to Natalie for coming on and hanging out with me.
Yeah.
Where can they find you?
My Instagram is my first and last name. It's Natalie. And then, what do you call a sandwich that sings? A hum melt. HUMM. M as in Mary, M as in Mary, ELT.
That was so fun.
And my Snapchat is the same, and I would love to be back. Ryan, you are a really enjoyable person. Like, I wouldn't mind, like, I sound like a boy, getting a beer with you.
Are you flirting with me right now?
No. I'm like 95% straight, but like, it's fine.
95%?
Every girl has their lesbian moment.
Seriously?
Yes, especially drunk me. The amount of times I've made out with Anyway,
that's for another episode. That's probably for another episode. Well, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, leave a comment down below. If you want to ask a question for us for the next episode, or at least for me anyway, for our next guest, go ahead and leave that in the comment section below, or you can follow me on everything on the screen, because I don't feel like saying it. I'm a little lazy like that. I'll just do it in post, but it'll be on the screen right here. Follow Natalie as well. That'll also be on the screen.
Hey.
If you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all that stuff, go ahead and subscribe and follow on there. Leave me a nice little review as well. That'd be great. And if you overall enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.